Hey guys, what is going on? It's Simon here from Get Into Crypto, back with another update for Bitcoin. So let's get straight into the price action. We've seen Bitcoin come up to 40,000 over the last few days and look to be holding the 40,000 level. So Bitcoin is looking fairly strong here and fairly constructive. And in today's video, I really wanted to get into the price of Bitcoin and where I believe that the Bitcoin price is going over the next few weeks and months. So right now we can see that Bitcoin has gone up very fast, very quickly, and it's looking very explosive. Really, ever since we broke through 20,000, we haven't looked back. We haven't yet had any retest of 20,000, and personally, I'm starting to lean towards us not actually coming back down to these levels again. I am personally thinking that actually we could look to carry on a little bit further up to around the mid 40s, so around about 46,000, where we have this Fibonacci extension. So we've got this 2.618 fib retrace, and then for us maybe to consolidate for a few weeks and then come back down on a correction. And I think we will go probably as low as about 30,000 in that correction. This doesn't have to play out, but I'm just going to now go into why I think this is likely to happen. The first thing is just looking down here. We've got the funding rate. So this is the BitMEX funding rate, but it tends to be used as an indicator to work out what percentage of the market is short and long. And obviously, when the market is more long, then the funding rate is increased, because this is the amount of funding that the longs are then paying to shorts, and vice versa. So we can see some examples here of when the market has got heavily extended long and heavily extended short. But if we just go back and look throughout 2017, actually is when the data starts, we can see numerous peaks of coming up to around about 0.31 here. And just to give us an idea of where we were more recently, back in 2019, we came up to about 0.2. Now, the current run up in price is nowhere near those levels. We're around about 0.10, and we're a long way off not only 2019, so not only would we have to double to get back there, but if we look back at the last bull market, then we really have to pretty much quadruple in the funding rate to reach those levels. And of course, we're nowhere near this blow off top. So what I'm trying to say is that I think Bitcoin, in terms of the funding rate, still has further to go. I think this market could get a lot more long than it currently is until we see any meaningful pullback. The other thing I've done is I've been taking a look, and it's easier if we flip onto the log scale. Just tidy this up a bit. I've been taking a look back at our last bull market, and obviously where we are right here at the moment is I've drawn out this Fibonacci retracement from the high, the all-time high, to the bear market low in 2019 or 2018-19, and I'm looking at what retracements could we actually find some resistance on, because there's not a lot to go on in terms of resistance now. We are at new all-time highs. We have gone parabolic. So at what levels are we likely to turn around in price? And obviously, something that a lot of analysts are doing is looking at the last bull market and are just trying to say, well, what did we actually do last time? So if I just draw on the Fibonacci retracement from the last bull market, and I'll make sure I go all the way over, we can actually see that as soon as we cleared the all-time highs, we literally went parabolic all the way up to the 2.168, sorry, the 2.618. Now, if we look at the current bull market, we can see that lays around about 46k. So it's not out of the question. We're not doing anything that we haven't done before. I know people are turning around and saying, well, it's a lot quicker and a lot more bullish in 2017. Actually, looks like we're more closely resembling 2013. That is still yet to be confirmed, really. we might still carry on in the current form and mirror 2017. We might mirror 2013. And for me, what it's going to come down to is what happens around this 46k level. So are we able to break on up and explode and make almost a first bull market blow off top, probably around the 65, 75 level, or even higher? And then will we see a larger correction, i.e. 40% or even more than 40%, or are we actually going to continue on following a similar roadmap to the one we followed last time in 2017, where we actually come up to this 2618, we chop around sideways for a few weeks, and then we actually come back and retrace? And if we actually look at where we retraced last time, then we can see that the price pierced through. I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. The price pierced through this 2618 level, and then it came back down to the 1618 level, which also coincided with where the 20-week and 21-week moving averages were then sitting. So if we look at where we currently are, we could realistically come up to the 2618. We could chop around for a bit like we did last time, and this was about sort of 5 or 6 weeks that it then took for us of going sideways to then come back down and retest that bull market support on the 20-week and 21-week MAs, and then revert higher, which is we pretty much exploded from there all the way up to our top fib, which was at the 4236. So are we going to see something similar play out? And it's interesting to look, but in about 6 weeks time, it is likely that these moving averages are coming up to around about the 30k mark. I mean, these are really starting to come up quickly now. The 21-week SMA is already at 20k, and we can see with the projection here, we have about 6 periods that are now projected. So by the time we actually get to the 7th week here, it's likely we will actually be around the 30k mark. So does Bitcoin over the next 1 or 2 weeks get itself up to 46k, go sideways for 4 to 5 weeks, and then come down and then meet, say, early April, these moving averages, and then it's off onto the next leg up, which potentially could take us up to this 4236 and around 75k? So that's what I'm looking for at the moment. I mean, there is really little else to guide us, other than me analyzing this and saying, well, right now we are extremely bullish. Bitcoin's above all of its long-term moving averages. If we just go down to the 4-hour chart, then we can see we keep on making these wedges, and we keep on breaking up higher, and it looks like we probably could be doing a similar kind of thing again now. Obviously, we're holding these moving averages. So, you know, are we going to see something like this where when we get a price close above, say, about sort of 41250, are we then going to start to push up and look to make our way up to around about this sort of 46k level? So yeah, Bitcoin is looking very healthy, very strong for now, and I think really the question, if you are interested in buying Bitcoin, is do you get involved here, or do you then wait for this pullback to 30k? But what you need to remember is that the pullback to 30k is not guaranteed. So this is by no means financial advice whatsoever. This is purely for information purposes. But if I actually look at what I'm currently doing at the moment, I am still fully positioned in Bitcoin. I haven't seen anything in these charts to tell me to get out of Bitcoin, and I still have been sort of buying, through the dips. I mean, the last time I bought was this dip here when I explained, the funding rate had cooled right off, and we had this huge wick, and it looked like we were going to get some continuation, and that's exactly what we've seen. So yeah, I don't see any reason to panic yet. I think it is important to be fully positioned. I'm fully positioned, but I've got a little bit of fiat just on the side, just in case we do get that dip. And this is one area that I'm saying has the potential to be a bit of a hurdle for the price to shoot through, and we might actually see a correction off. But for me, the focus has to be on the long term. The focus has to be on looking at the big picture here and where Bitcoin is going over the next year. So yeah, I mean, let's just be aware that this is the 4-year cycle, and you know, I really think 100,000 is on the cards at the end of this year. I really do. So yeah, just keep that in mind. You want to be positioned. However, I think there's a chain of thought in many people's head that actually, I'm getting nervous holding here. I need to sell. I need to get out. And just remember that when you're selling here, who are you selling to? Well, you're selling to people that are now coming into this market that are going to be holding this asset likely through 100K. So yeah, whilst it might feel good and smart to take some profit off the table, just remember any dip is likely to get bought up very quickly. And if you're actually selling Bitcoin at a price and then it's not coming down to the price you've sold at, then you are missing out. You are missing out on gains from this market. And yes, I've heard people say, well, that's not being greedy by taking your profits. But actually, if you're trying to then trade this market, you've got to ask yourself, like, if you're just buying, if you're just selling Bitcoin to then buy it a couple of thousand lower, then where's the lack of greed there? I mean, for me, you're just trying to take a bit more than this market would otherwise give you. So in my opinion, that is actually you being a bit greedy by trying to time the market and make above and beyond what looks like it could be a 10-15x from Bitcoin over the next year, over the next, not even year now, over the next few months. So yeah, important to keep an eye on what Bitcoin does around this 2618 level. I'll just also tell you what is supporting my view on Bitcoin, or reinforcing my view on Bitcoin, is this piece of analysis here. So what this is showing is the liquid supply change. So liquid supply is typically Bitcoin, which is held on exchanges, which can then easily be dumped on the market. And we can see when this graphic goes red that the liquid supply is actually decreasing, which suggests that actually amounts of Bitcoin have been taken off exchanges and placed in wallets, so or placed in cold storage devices or other sort of places where obviously the supply is no longer liquid. So this very much reinforces the idea that we still have a bit higher to push. And yeah, I just want to make it clear, I'm not saying that we have to top out at 46K. I do think we're going a lot higher, but I'm just saying in the short term, this might be an area that you might want to think about, covering maybe a small part of your position, or at least making sure that you are prepared for either scenario, in terms of going higher or actually retracing because of what it's done in our last bull cycle. And people will be aware of this and people will be looking at this. And I've said it before on the channel, it is very important just to make sure that you are positioned for any outcome, for any scenario. Bitcoin to go up, Bitcoin to go down, Bitcoin to go sideways. Just make sure that you have a plan in place. So that kind of wraps up what I wanted to say on Bitcoin. I did want to take a quick look at Ethereum as well, just to say that I do think Ethereum is ready to launch. It's looking fantastic where we currently are. I'm just going to take this off log. And yeah, Ethereum for me is on the move towards its all-time highs, and I don't expect it to be below its all-time highs for much longer. And just looking at, I think I'll use the 4-hour. Just looking at the 4-hour, I mean, this is something we've seen happen in Bitcoin, and it's a reoccurring pattern where obviously prices shoot up, prices then come down, shorts get liquidated, people start to panic, weak hands sell out, and then that encourages buyers to then step in and take advantage of those dips. And yeah, where we are right here, it looks fairly constructive. Like over the next, I'd say over the next sort of 8 to 12 hours, we're going to get some resolution from this pattern, and Ethereum is looking really strong here. So I would expect Ethereum to break this to the upside, but let's just see what happens. It's looking strong at the moment. Just on the Bitcoin Ethereum chart, we can see here, it's probably best to look at the daily, how we had this sort of double bottom or this higher low put in. We had this explosive price action, and we've actually now got back into or above this ascending channel line. So if we can hold this and start to turn around, and Ethereum breaks out against the US dollar, then we could look to challenge these highs in the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio, and Ethereum that could then start to be looking really bullish, both on in terms of USD and Bitcoin value. We'll take a quick glance at dominance as well, Bitcoin dominance. So we can see that we did find resistance here, and now we are starting to, looks like we might have put a top in. It's too early to say, really. We'd need to see a definitive break below this 67.68 level, which you can see was resistance. It's become support. So I'll just go ahead and draw that line on there. And a break of this level would then indicate that we could be coming down and back into this channel. And obviously, if that did happen, then I would expect alts to get us to see some really big moves in the altcoins. I would expect us to get a really full-blown alt season, and yeah, it could be that we come down to the bottom of the channel, and then Bitcoin starts to do its thing. I mean, this would coincide with obviously Bitcoin going sideways for a few weeks. We'd need to see that Bitcoin volatility come down to really give the alts a chance to run. But yeah, it is looking promising. Certainly with the Ethereum being set up quite bullishly at the moment, both against USD and BTC. So yeah, I think we will wrap it up there. Thank you again for watching. If you do like the video, please do like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.